Hello, welcome to Object-Oriented Programming Mentoring Orientation. Just like optional prerequisite course on DSA, we'll be using my own training approach called Perspective-Based Mentoring. In this teaching style, emphasis will be on sharing concepts, sharing perspective rather than just the details. With this, you will be able to go up the experience ladder much faster. Retention of the knowledge will also be high compared to the traditional ways of learning. Let us start this orientation with an example of stack of numbers. This is basically last in first out arrangement where numbers can be pushed or numbers can be popped. After we implement this with procedure programming language like C, we'll notice that parts of the logic does not really depend on type of item in the stack. We can easily enhance this program for stack of items where the item type is not even known. Here is called generic programming. And we have in fact reused part of the code, part of the logic from the previous program. If we use C for this particular type of generic programming, we'll be using void pointers, where instead of storing the numbers, we'll store the pointers to the items, and the items could contain numbers or any other user-defined type. We can enhance this further to have multiple such stacks. So we have multiple stacks of items. In fact, going one more step ahead, we can design our software such a way that we separate more and more such code, turn them into generic implementation, which we can reuse again and again in the current projects and the future projects. This is what we call approach based on the design pattern. Now let us take our stack example further. Design point of view, we have a software component called stack with its own abstract view of operations like push and pop. It can implement logic with its own tracking variables like count of number of items. The next question is, can programming language provide a way to implement this, like a way to separate out abstract view and hide the internals so that programmer can focus more on design of the systems with reusability and lot of abstraction in place? The answer is yes. That is how object-oriented programming has been born from a vast software design and implementation experience. Well, in our stack case, a stack can be considered as a class with two methods called push and pop, and it will have internal attributes or internal data like count. Every concept that we learn in object-oriented programming has origins in procedure programming. In fact, we can actually map all concepts of procedure programming to object-oriented programming. For example, patterns can be mapped to classes, definition can be mapped to instance, and so on. So if you are interested to learn object-oriented programming, where you go beyond the programming language and become an expert, you can contact me on this particular number. You can call, you can text, or start chatting on one of these chatting applications. Thank you.